Getting a car, that's my gift. Seems like every Christmas, further apart we adrift. I just buy your diamonds, and I just buy your pearls. Give you everything, cause baby you are my world. My heart can't take no more, my dear. In this card you give me every year. Whoa, the only thing I get was a card. Whoa, the only thing I get was a card. She coulda buy me a case of beer, or even some underwear, but every year faithfully is a card she giving to me. Whoa, every year I get in a card. Whoa, every year I get in a card, and it hurts my heart so bad. A cologne, $30. A tie, $5.99. A pack of brief, $12. Get a card for Christmas? Priceless.
That's right, man. That's all he's asking for. Any kind of gift that can worth the while, you know, but not a card, man. Christmas, a card, that's all you're getting. Okay, guess what? You're going to get some education about what's happening around you and your surroundings right here with another session of Policing with You. You stick and stay right where you are. It's another session.
ZIZ Radio, entertaining the nation, enjoyed by the world.
Tune in for Policing with You, a half-hour radio program every Thursday morning at 9:15 on ZIZ Radio. Join host Inspector James Francis of the Criminal Investigations Department as he focuses on crime, factors contributing to criminal activity, crime prevention, and how the community can assist the police in reducing crime. It's Policing with You every Thursday morning at 9:15 on ZIZ Radio. Join us.
Right, so here we go with another session of Policing with You. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys? How are you guys today, man?
Wonderful.
I'm seeing some familiar faces that I don't see often. Dr. Wyatt is in the building. All right. Okay, guys. Well, it's your turn, and so I will pass it over to James. So take care of the rest of the show.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Good morning to everyone out there in the listening audience, both local, international, on the internet, on the radio. Good morning. Today is another feature program of Policing with You, and it's a very exciting program. I have with me senior officers of the police department come to share with us. I will now turn over for them to introduce themselves, starting with Superintendent Mills.
Hi, good morning to all. Superintendent Francis and the listening audience and viewing audience in Radio Land. My name is Diana Mills, Superintendent of Police, in charge of the Service Improvement Directorate.
Yes, beautiful. Yes.
Good morning all. My name is Joseph Wyatt. I'm a Sergeant of Police, and I'm here to share with you what we do in our department.
Which department is that?
Professional standards.
Professional standards. So?
Good morning all. My name is Sergeant Daryl Boone, and I represent the Police Training School, and from time to time I assist with prosecution in the professional standards as well.
Okay, beautiful. So we have a wide cross-section of departments here today. We have Service Improvement, led by Superintendent Mills. We have Professional Standards, our internal department, and Police Training School / Prosecution Unit. So today we'll be talking about discipline in the police force and what goes on and what does not go on and things of that nature. Halftime, about 9:30, 9:35, we'll break for a word from our sponsors and come back and we'll entertain any questions. So we'll just jump straight into the question and segment section. Can you tell us about your department, Superintendent Mills?
Yes, thank you very much. The Police Service Improvement directorate is the directorate responsible, as the name suggests, for the service improvement that the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force offers to the general public and even to police officers ourselves. Under that directorate, we have the Internal Affairs Department / Professional Standard and the Police Training School. And that's why we have the two sergeants here from both departments who would tell you a little more about the department that they're
Okay,
in.
thank you very much. Okay, so I see it. Service improvement and these departments fall under.
Yes.
Beautiful. If someone has a report against a police, remember we're talking about discipline. If someone makes a report against a police, has a report against a police, how can that person go about making that report? Sergeant Ware?
Thank you. A report can be made by any member of the public by contacting any police station, a police officer in person. They can do so in writing, by making a phone call, or even by sending an email.
Okay, so those are the different means that persons can make a report against the police. Yes,
Well, just to add, for persons who may have difficulty making a call,
Yes.
in terms of a call that they would have to pay for, there's always the 911
Okay.
that they can call, and 911 would get them onto whichever station that they are closest to, and they can lodge the report, and that station would then forward that report to the department.
Okay, so a person could do whatever phone call come in, and at the end of the day, when the report is captured by the police, it reaches to you guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay, beautiful. Next question. Some listeners would say, and this is a ticklish one, some listeners would say that when people make a report against the police, nothing happens. You know, we have these allegations from time to time. Nothing happened afterwards. Is this so? And tell us about the process once a report is made.
Okay, let me come in.
Superintendent,
Yeah.
yes.
Let me come in here. Well, Superintendent Francis, you're so right with that, because as a matter of fact, just on Sunday, after leaving church, I went to an area where I met up a good friend, and he was asking me where I am at this time, and when I told him, you know, he did mention, just as you're saying, I'm sure you all don't take on those reports. So we are seeing that, yes, persons would be thinking that. But I wish to dispel that notion, because we take these reports very seriously. And these reports, they are taken, they are investigated from the time a person makes that report, whatever station it is made. One thing that the police officer taking the report would get from the individual making the report is his contact number, contact information. And that information would come to us, and we in turn would contact that person to invite them into the department, to get a detailed statement from them as to what transpired, and from there an investigation would take place.
Okay.
And that investigation, of course, can lead to different outcomes.
Okay.
One of the outcomes can be that the police officer is charged internally, where he goes to a tribunal, internal tribunal. This is what Sergeant Boone would speak about, because he helps to prosecute in that setting. And so persons are taken there and the matters are tried. Police officers have to even get lawyers to represent them in this tribunal. We have tribunal in Division A, Bastia area, Division B and Division C over in Nevis. And we have assistant commissioners of police who adjudicate over these settings. And so these matters are taken very seriously.
Sounds that way, sounds that thing. And it's very structured as well.
Very structured.
Okay, so therefore, what I'm hearing you to say is that, and you can correct me, that just like how a normal report is made, where, for instance, somebody go down the road and they might have gotten injured or hurt by another individual, and they come to the the front desk to make a report against an individual, am I hearing you to say that the same seriousness that is taken with that report is also taken when somebody makes a report against the police?
Absolutely, and that's why I think I mentioned before that police officers, who we call defaulters in this case, they actually hire lawyers, attorneys to represent them because of the seriousness of these settings.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
After a report has been made, does the complainant receive a follow-up call to know the status of the complaint? Because that's another situation that people would talk about.
Okay.
Sergeant White?
Definitely, we do that.
Okay.
Complainants are always, the complainants are always kept abreast of the status of the investigation, because our investigation relies on the complainants. And so we tend to embrace them with whatever we so desire of having, so that they can supply, so that we can have a proper investigation into the matter.
So
yes, we do follow up.
Okay, I understand. So the persons who make reports, they normally get a call from your unit to find out. And about how long does a report last? From the time somebody make a report against the police, an approximate. We know things happen from time to time, but from the time somebody make a report against the police to what length estimated you would say it would take before there's some form of outcome?
We have a 6 months window.
Okay.
And during that 6 months we try to investigate and have that matter, if the evidence is forthcoming, being sent to a tribunal.
Okay, thank you. Sergeant Boone, can you tell us about the tribunals and some sentences, the tribunal process, and some sentences that can be given down and passed down to
the tribunal process is actually the same as you would have it in the court,
Wow.
It is actually the same process.
So like that, the court?
Actually the very same process.
Okay.
And it's actually very serious as well.
Okay.
Because the outcome of the tribunal, when the recommendation is made by the adjudicator to the police service commission, this result can be very well your stoppage of increment. You can be reprimanded and discharged. You can be cautioned. You can be reduced in rank if you have rank.
Wow.
You can actually have your dismissal recommended, so you can very well lose your job.
Wow.
You can be fined, and in some cases you can be confined to barracks as well. And so it is actually very, very serious. And so this tribunal process, because it's so serious, we actually function under the Evidence Act, and we incorporate the Magistrate Code and Procedure Act as well. So the same process that takes place in the Magistrate Court is the same process that takes place in the tribunal. Yes, please.
It sounds very, very serious.
Yes, please.
I guess this is the fundamental reason why the superintendent did indicate that most of the defaulters solicit legal assistance. Because if you can say that a report is made against a police officer and then it could reach to the point where I'm dismissed, I'll recommend dismissal. That is very, very serious. Wow.
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm glad that the general public can listen to this and see that the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force is taking discipline of the rank and file very serious. Okay, are all reports investigated? And if not, what can cause a report to not go forward after a complaint is made? Superintendent?
Okay, from the time a complaint is made and the investigations start, one of the things we would start with, as I indicated, would be to contact the individual who made the report to come to give a statement. Sometimes we have situations where persons make the report at the time when something happens, but when they're called upon to give this statement so that we can proceed with the investigations, sometimes that is not quite forthcoming. For various reasons, maybe sometimes the person might indicate, you know what, whatever happened, maybe it may not have been something so serious, and they decide to just forget about it, just ask for us to warn the individual or what have you. I have had persons asked to have a sit down with the officer who they would have reported, and we would have done that. We would have sat down in my office, we would have gone to the situation, spoken about it, the officer apologized, whatever, sometimes it's some misunderstanding and different things, and so we have amicable solution.
Okay.
Other times we have persons who indicate that they prefer to deal with their lawyer. So even though they make the report to the police, they would then take it up with their lawyer. They prefer to go to a lawyer, maybe in most instances where they intend to sue. And as a matter of fact, we are seeing quite a bit of that, where persons prefer to sue, maybe to try get some money out of whatever they allege would have transpired.
Okay, and you mentioned sue, but the general public need to understand that although persons could get up and sue, anybody could sue anybody, but it's the evidence that comes out that will determine if it is true or not.
That is correct.
If he's guilty or not.
That is
and
correct.
You did indicate that, well, not all cases that are reported, complainants want to go before a tribunal.
Right.
What you indicated to me is like a mediation process goes on sometimes.
Right.
And it happens the same way as a criminal matter.
Yes.
A normal criminal matter, some persons, decide, man, look, there was a misunderstanding, and, we rather than going to court, down by the magistrate court, we would decide to, deal with it on a different level.
Right.
Wow. So it is somewhat the same.
And to piggyback on that as well, in terms of prosecuting, it is not all about just proving that the officer did commit an offense, We are on a journey for the truth.
Right.
And so if that evidence shows that the officer is in fact innocent, then my duty as a prosecutor is to bring that evidence to light in the tribunal itself. So it goes both ways.
Okay.
Just as with the magistrate court, the criminal court.
Yes.
That's the same thing that would happen. We are responsible to bring out the truth, the balance, get to that balance, and not about just trying to win a case. So just
And I'm glad that you both just indicated that is a journey for the truth.
Yes.
The next question is, have your investigations ever revealed that the report is false or inaccurate? Are all reports come to the police are true? Some investigation done differently. Can you enlighten us?
Our investigations, yes, have proven that there were times that the allegations that were levied against police officers were not always true. The whole truth were not given. The investigations would have been proven. The investigations would have proven that, based on, especially sometimes you go to persons who they would have indicated were present when incident happened, and when you speak to those persons give us something different. Sometimes even in terms of video footage, sometimes you look at video footage to see the event that they would have reported, and video footage would have given you a different story, and so forth. So there would have been instances where it showed that the whole truth, at least. So we are not saying that because video footage or some person or persons told us something differently that it would have been a total lie, but it would have showed that we were not told the whole truth in some instances.
Okay. Some instances is a total lie. Some instances is half truth. And some instances the police officer was actually wrong.
Definitely.
But what I'm gathering here is that your unit do proper investigation, because when our investigation, thank you, because when I'm hearing about looking at CCTV footage and interviewing persons, this mirrors just what the detectives do in a normal investigation. Right. So wow.
And in fact, in some cases, we actually tap into the cybercrime department as well.
Yes.
Cybercrime.
Yes, please.
And of course,
obtain electronic evidence.
Of course.
Okay.
And of course, the medical evidence would also tell story one way or the other.
This is very impressive. Wani, I don't know if we can break for a word from our sponsors and come back to open our lines. Thank you.
ZIZ Radio, entertaining the nation, enjoyed by the world.
Experience the value. Get the cable's value bundle today. Internet, Ultra TV, free HBO Max, and a free Cable Platinum Loyalty MasterCard for only $157 monthly. Feel the thrill of 74 channels of Ultra TV. Feel the rush of the cable's 35 megabyte Bolt Internet. Maximum streaming entertainment is free with HBO Max and the ultra convenience of the Platinum Loyalty MasterCard. Shop, save, share, and don't forget, get a free internet upgrade when you pay your cable bills with Platinum Loyalty MasterCard. Not a cable customer? Sign up today and get more out of your internet, TV, shopping, and payment experience. The cable's value bundle, Ultra TV, internet, free HBO Max, and Platinum Loyalty MasterCard at $250 value for only $157 per month. Call the cable 465-2588 and come experience the value.
Welcome to Bastia Art Gallery and Restaurant, located at North Independence Square Street in the heart of Old Bastia. We are open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The fresh food and friendly faces will make you feel like a star that you deserve to be. Our chef, with over 20 years of experience in fine dining European restaurants, will surprise you with the best of culinary delights from old Europe. And our multi-talented local chef will treat you with the classics of St. Kitts and the Caribbean. Special prices for groups are available. Come and enjoy the best of Kittitian and European cuisine in one place. For your reservation, call us at 661-6877. Rain or shine, it's time to dine.
Hold on, stop. Think about the drink before you take a drop. Read up on the label on the back. They say science, sugar, low in fat. But don't be fooled by that. Drink some water, share some love. Tell your body you're sweet enough. Drink some water, share some love. Tell somebody you're sweet enough. Drink some water, share some love. Tell your body you're sweet enough. Drink some water, share some love. Tell somebody, yeah.
This message is brought to you by Lake Health and Wellbeing.
At Nature's Discount, the herbal store on 4th Street, we provide herbal supplements for all your needs. Blood sugar, blood pressure, prostate, liver, heart, kidney, and more. Oils, pure herbal teas, wholesome vitamins, healthy foods, alkaline water, bodybuilding supplements, weight loss and sexual health supplements, even hair and body care products. We support the natural health of the whole family. Get healthy naturally. Call us at 662-5447. Like us on Facebook, Nature's Discount Nutrition Center. Your get healthy, feel wealthy people.
Okay, welcome back to another program of Policing with You. I have in the studio with me Superintendent Mills, Sergeant Wyatt, and Sergeant Boone. And we're speaking about discipline in the organization, in the police force. And we're going to jump back into the questions. Okay, we were discussing offline, but we're going to bring it to the listening audience. What are some of the offenses that a police officer can be charged for, which cause them to be taken before a tribunal? Sergeant Wyatt?
Thank you. There are several disciplinary charges that can be laid against an officer. These charges are discreditable conduct, insubordinate or oppressive conduct, disobedience to orders, neglect of duty, making false statement, breach of confidence, corrupt practice, unlawful or unnecessary exercise of authority, malingering, absence without leave or being late for duty, uncleanliness, damage to clothing or articles or other articles supplied by the government. You have drinking on duty or soliciting drinks while on duty. Entering licensed premises where liquor are stored. entering and incurring debt, gambling, breaking arrests, or breaking out of barracks. As you know, when you are confined at a tribunal, you can be sent to your barracks. And so if you break out of barracks, that is a disciplinary offense as well. Appropriating his or her own use. Breach of these regulations, force orders, and standing orders are also a part of the disciplinary codes. If you are convicted of a criminal offense, that too is considered to be a disciplinary matter that you can be charged with. Being accessory to a disciplinary offense, and last but by no means least, engaging in employment other than being a police officer.
Okay, well, that's a barrage of things that police officers can be charged for. Okay, could you give us an example of at least two? Because these are some things that I know would fly over the heads of some of the listeners. When you say discreditable conduct and things like insubordination and breach of confidence, could you give us an example? Like a real-time example, without calling any names. Like, for instance, A did this or that would fall under such and such. Just an example.
Breach of confidence.
Anyone.
Simply where someone would have said something to you in confidence. They want you to act upon a matter that is of some concern to them, and you least expect that person go and reveal to some other member of the public the information that would have given to you in a confidential manner.
Okay, thanks. So information obtained should remain confidential
at all times.
Okay. Anybody else?
Well, one of the offenses that is quite interesting is that a police officer can be charged for owing debt.
Owing debt.
So a police officer should not go and borrow money from persons and not pay back.
Wow.
So if that is the case,
that's
it should
a disciplinary offense as well.
Of course it is, because we are the police and we should not do that.
Interesting.
Yes,
Thank
please.
you. Thank you, Superintendent.
Well, I want to highlight is the unnecessary use of force, or unlawful or excessive use of force. Well, that is, of course, we are even in the execution of a police officer's duty, where the officer may use more force than was necessary to arrest that person or arrest the situation.
Okay, we have a call?
Can we have a call on it? Of course. Yes. Yes, Pleasant. Good morning. Policing with you.
Yes, good morning. Good morning to you. Officers, I did not hear or listen to the introduction to know any of the rank and file of the other fellow police officers in your company. However, just now I heard the officer speaking about all the things that a police officer can be charged for. He spoke of something about employment. What does that refers to?
Colonel, could you hold on? I can't hear you properly.
Can you hear me?
Hearing you now, yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Good. I heard the police officer spoke of all the offences that the police officer can be charged for. Yes. He did speak about employment. What employment does that refers to? He being employed by someone else at the time he is a police officer? Is that the case?
Well, yes, in the sense that the regulations are specific, in that if a police officer is engaged in another employment, that police officer should write to the Commissioner of Police seeking permission to engage in such employment. The Commissioner of Police, in his or her wisdom, will indicate if that is allowed or not, and what circumstances it will be under. If an officer does so without the permission of the Commissioner of Police, it is a disciplinary offense.
Let me ask you, generally speaking, is that allowed for a police officer to be employed other than having a job as a police officer of his profession? Is that allowed?
Yes, it is. The Commissioner of Police will give the permission for that officer to be employed otherwise.
Let me say something to that. I do not know who that police officer will be loyal to. His employer or his employer as his profession, as his job as a police officer. Let me make a statement now. About a few years ago, the home that I'm living into was broken into. one of 4 bikes that I owned, one of the expensive bikes that is, was stolen. Other item was stolen. There was footage of that person was in the house. From him approaching the area where the house is located. They came, take prints and do all the unnecessary things that had to be done. For some reason, nothing has shed no light on that. One day, I saw my bike. They had warned me, and I visited the bike, do not go and take the bike or cause any confrontation. I did what they said not to do. I saw the bike, the person was on the bike coming in a certain area, which of course could have been dealt with. I called the police station, asked for CID because they would have had reports, and all that was when reported of that bike was stolen. I told them where the person was, what he was wearing, where he was going. I was actually stalking the person. You know, up to now, the police ain't come to apprehend or to arrest the person. Not now for almost 8 years. But I believe my bike is surfacing somewhere. They may have changed the paint, scraped the serial number, but I have some clues of the bike because I know there are certain particulars of the bike that nobody even know the bike has. But I will see the bike again. However, I'll see it again, and I'm going to do what I asked them to do, not to go and cause any confrontation or argue with the person. But I personally feel like there are matters could have been dealt with, giving clues and ideas, link, given that sort of time to take the initiative to retrieve people's property, never was done. Because they take the time and linger. It wasn't a gun, and it wasn't anybody getting killed. No, it wasn't one of the franchise that property who owned big businesses were broken into. It was me, a little boy, someone that is common, and for some reason they couldn't deal with it. But I listen to you all very often, you know, and sometimes I wish to call, I never get a chance, but sorry to say this, I am not dissing the police that does good things. They have done a lot of good things. I have compliment them and commend them for it. But in this case scenario, somebody knocked the ball, somebody ignored the ball was in their park. Officer, have a good day, man. You take care. Goodbye.
Okay, man. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any more calls? Okay, we have in the studio Superintendent Mills, Sergeant Wyatt, and Sergeant Boone. I think I indicated that earlier, but for the benefit of others, I'll indicate it again. Superintendent?
Yeah, well, just to respond to our first caller, thank you for calling in, caller. And, well, I heard you, as you spoke, you mentioned that you're just a little boy. I wish that you would not feel that way, because everybody is important. And I want you to understand that. I also understand why you might feel that way based on what transpired in your case. But I heard you mention, that this thing happened some 8 years ago.
Yes, sometime before.
Some 8 years ago. And that is why we have police service improvement to try to improve on things that would have been happening a particular way, to try to have them, work out differently. So, and I wish, when it comes to a situation like that where you make a report and you're not pleased with what is happening, that's why you have senior officers.
Yes.
You're dealing with a constable, then you can go to a corporal, go to a sergeant, an inspector, superintendent. You go right up the line. There should be somebody that you're able to call and say something to, so that we can look into the case and see what is really happening.
Yes, we have a call. Yes? Yes, you're on the air. Policing with you. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning to everybody there.
Good morning, sir.
I know of an incident where a person made a complaint to the station on a police officer. When they decide that they're going to bring the case forward, the complainant decides he no longer wants to move forward with the case. What would the tribunal do in that case?
Okay.
I'll look after you.
Yes, please.
Okay.
In a case like that, the tribunal would adhere to the person's wish. Now, it still depends, because an offense can be committed that is so grave that even though you might not want to really address the issue, the organization can see it fit to still find a way to address that issue. We have another call?
Yes, we do.
Please.
Pleasant, good morning. You on the air, policing with you.
Yes, good morning. I need to respond to a statement that, is it Assistant Commissioner Mills?
Superintendent Mills, not assistant yet. Not yet. Very soon, not yet. Superintendent Mills.
Okay, good. Okay, she said, well, basically anyone could go to a police station to make a complaint. Now, the problem I have with that, let's say, for instance, I go to the Stapleton police station to make a report, and the sergeant who is in charge there, now a constable or corporal may be on duty. Here's the problem. I make the report. He may not be there. But when he comes in, hey, Sarge, somebody make a complaint on you, you know. That's the problem I have.
I don't understand the question. What's the question?
I'm saying
make a complaint to the Sorry? Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm saying that if one files a complaint against, let's say, the sergeant at Stapleton Police Station, a constable or a corporal might be on duty. But after you make that report, here comes the sergeant and the officer who take the report. We say, Sarge, somebody make a report on you, you know. And that's the problem I have. When people making report, it should be directly to internal affairs. That person should never know someone came to make a report on them.
Okay, so
that's the concern I have.
All right, thank you very much. We'll address that after here. Do anybody have any more calls? Yes, Pleasant, good morning. You're on the air, policing with you.
Yes, good morning. 2017, in July, I had a problem. Somebody breaking up my place, at Irish Number Road, and up to now, I ain't getting justice, I think there's some obstinate people live to the back of me, and I think they were supposed to be checking them now and again. In the first time, and the guy didn't get no answer. He told me he went to lie in a place, and he didn't get no answer. But what Mr. Hanley them used to do, Jeffrey Hanley father, they come back around, they give you a little sweet talk, whatever, and they get some kind of, satisfaction out of it. You got to go around and ask, well, whatever, don't come one time, so my money, 2,300 stolen, my nice bag, it cost me about 200 US, and that gone, and up to now I haven't get no justice. You all say you all have camera on the post. How come I was living in the vicinity there by Law Fines Avenue, going on to the Bay Road. So how come nobody they should have tested the camera them as the old people. Some people say look like the camera them don't really work. Because you got to be, I saw somebody in the run the night. When I do catch myself, I saw somebody going up me down behind the wall and went up the road. And by right, I should have get justice because money I lose.
Yes, that's true.
But I know the police, them do a good job, but I don't believe not too good enough. You have a good day.
All right, thank you. We'll adjust the two questions. I think it was three. You were trying to
Yes, please. The one I was finishing up on is if a report is made and the person does not want to follow through, can anything be done?
Yes.
The reality is that depends on the evidence that is there. If there's absence of evidence, then we will not be able to proceed. So even if that person decides that they don't want to go forward, but we can find other independent evidence that can still bring the same facts to the table, then we'll definitely proceed with the matter. But if there's no evidence, then we'll not be able to proceed.
Okay, thank you. There was another question.
Yes.
Report should be made directly to Internal Affairs.
Well, because the concern from that caller is that the person, the police officer who is being reported, should not know that a report is made on him. But the proper process would not have that to be so, in that once a report is made on any person, whether a police officer or anyone else, that individual must be told that a report, so-and-so reported you for this, because that individual should be able to respond to it one way or the other, should have an opportunity to say, yes, something happened, so something didn't happen, so this, whatever. They should be given an opportunity to respond to it. That is the proper process.
So they should have an opportunity to face the accuser.
Right. Because if it's something that will be going to whether a court of law or something going to the tribunal, the individual would be there. And when you are testifying about what happened to you, the individual has to be there to defend himself, whether by himself or with a lawyer. So it is important that the person knows. So it is something, we often hear about this kind of situation, but it's something that we really cannot get away from.
Yes.
The person has to be told.
And it's proper legal process.
Right.
Correct.
Yes. Okay, and there was a last question.
Do you have another caller?
Do you have a call? Okay. Police with you. You're on the air.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Rascal. Thanks for taking my call and passing it on to my higher ranks of colleague. This is Police Without Pay.
Yes, sir. Morning.
Yeah, I'm responding to the first caller there who said that his bicycle was stolen. I remember when he came on the radio and he made that report. So he's correct with the amount of years he said when he made that report. But my thing is this. Since he said he made a report and the police them take statement, that case should have been followed up. You don't rest down things like that there because he gave you all the information that you all needed to follow up to track down the case and follow it up and have it in court. So I don't know the reason why follow-up was not done. Because when you look at the mainland, U.S. mainland, who we learn a lot from, when anything happens and it is reported to the police, it could be 55 years after they're following up until they hold that culprit. So I think following up among my colleagues, police, it needs to be done and not procrastinated on it. That's my thing for today. Thanks very much, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Yes, we have another caller. Police with you. You're on the air.
Yes, I think Mr. Meadows misunderstood the point I was making. Of course, everyone have a right to meet the accuser. I was referring to when the individual who is in charge of the station comes in, the officer will say, well, Sarge, somebody make a complaint on you, so they now know. That's the point I was making.
Okay.
No problem.
Thank you very much for that clarity.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Police with you. You're on the air. Can I help?
Yeah, Ronnie.
No.
I want to find out something. Okay.
This is police with you. Do you have a question?
She the superintendent?
Sorry?
Yes, please. Superintendent Mills.
What was that she? The lady?
Yes, Superintendent Mills.
Okay. I want to ask a question now.
Yes?
Suppose you have something going on with her boss now. How that going to be received? I want to know.
I don't understand.
Something going on with?
Suppose you have something going on with your boss. You think the boss going to forward that?
Okay.
Information?
I'm following you.
Answer the question.
No problem.
Bye.
No problem.
Bye.
I'm following you. Yes, please.
Okay, thanks for the question. Okay, we'll one more. Police with you. You're on the air. Can I help?
Yes, sir, about the feedback. And next thing again, that's why I talk about it this morning. I know we really bring it on the ear, You know that happened again, but it's when it happened, but 2 Saturdays after that, I was there now with nobody breaking. I was there with my bag, my door on the cock, right? And somebody walking, and let me tell you, Major, it was just a good thing hit me, my mind, they told me, take out my thing, them. Like I feel a spirit, it was going to happen. Take out my important thing, take out some money, the same money, and hide it. But what happened?
Okay, caller,
I have a question. It was
caller,
20 US.
Excuse me, I have a question. Did you make a report to the police?
Yes, I mean the second time with the bag.
Yes. Okay, question. Do you have a question for the program in particular? We're cautioning for time. And I want to
the
give you a
question that I think they should have checked around the area there were, because abstinent people they were around there.
Yes.
Because it happened to me again the second time to say that somebody is around here, around there in Coinage. Some bad boys just sort of.
All right, thank you very much. We want to thank that caller, but we are pushed for time, and we want to be able to address the questions that came forward.
Yes, to address the question with the gentleman, I understand where he's coming from in terms of bus.
Yes.
And so what Superintendent Mills would have indicated prior is that there are different avenues one can use in terms of making a report. So if you're making a report on the sergeant for the Stapleton Police Station, for example, you don't need to go to the Stapleton Police Station. You can go directly to Internal Affairs and make your report.
Yes.
And so there are different avenues that one can use. In fact, even if you decide that you want to make a report on even the superintendent, there are avenues that you can use as well. And remember, the police force is also governed by the Police Service Commission as well. So any which way, there are avenues that one can use in order to facilitate them making such a report.
Okay.
Yes, please.
To add to what you say, I don't want to call us and listeners to walk away with the notion that the police force is not a professional organization. We are a professional organization, and even if there's a sergeant who is in charge of a station and a report is made against that sergeant in that station, there are inspectors in charge of that sergeant who comes around and visit that station to find out what reports are being made. More so, there are superintendents who are divisional commanders who also come around to that station to make sure due diligence is taking place.
Yes.
So it's not just the sergeant in charge and he stops at the sergeant. Everybody's accountable to somebody.
Well, as a matter of fact, just yesterday, a lawyer visited me to make a report on a very senior police officer, but he was comfortable enough in doing that. So I believe that in itself, speaks some volume as to persons recognize that things are happening in terms of reports being made and what is happening thereafter.
So it's a professional organization, and checks and balances are in place to ensure that things are run properly.
And to show just how serious it is, even internally, if I am reporting my boss, I send that report through my boss, and he or she is duty bound to take it forward, or that is oppressive conduct. So that is how serious it is.
Right. So I'm glad that we were able to clear up that. We are at 10 o'clock. We have 2 more questions, and then we're going to wrap up. 2 quick questions. Can you give us give the listeners a status on the police training school? We have training school.
Yes, please. Well, presently we just completed another course. And this is course 45. We started off with 31 recruits. We are down to 26. So we lost 5. But it was a successful course, and we are hoping to get them passed out sometime very soon.
Do we have a date? Not yet. Not yet.
Not officially. Not officially.
Okay.
But hopefully sometime very soon.
Very soon.
And so we were able to go through this course. COVID is not all bad, because based on the situation, we did not have much breaks. Normally we'll have lots of breaks, but we were able to keep this course intact. The only break that we did have, in fact, was for the CPL. So that was actually to our benefit this time.
Beautiful.
Yes, please.
Okay, now I would allow wrap up. I will start with the superintendent.
Okay,
I'll end with the superintendent. Which one?
Okay, whatever. I'll leave it to you.
Sergeant Boo. We'll end with the superintendent. Sergeant Boo.
Well, yes, I just want to let persons know that the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force is a professional organization, and it is important to note that this directorate is a Service Improvement Directorate. That is why we appreciate the concerns, we appreciate the advice, we appreciate you telling us what we need to do better, because our duty is to improve upon what is not good enough. And so that is the aim of the directorate. So where there are shortcomings, we'll do our best to try to fix that. And we want to let persons know that police officers have a duty to be responsible. And so if in any event you see a police officer doing something that they should not do, report it, and the organization will deal with it, because we aim to be a professional organization.
Thank you very much, Sergeant Boone. Sergeant Wire?
Yes, thank you again. In wrapping up, I will just say to the listening public that our office is available to you You can come in at any time between 8 and 4 and any working day. And feel free to discuss your report with us. We will look into it and we will advise accordingly.
Thank you very much. Superintendent Mills.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks to you, Superintendent Francis, and all the persons who call in, all who have been listening. I just wish to say, well, Sergeant Boone would have spoken, ended with some of my thoughts, but I wish to say that we have found that with some of the reports made, that the persons who are reporting in some instances happen to be the aggressor.
The aggressor?
Yes.
Wow.
And so, we don't want it to be that because we have this department to deal with these things against police officers, that people, find comfort in maybe interfering with the police and then come to make report. Because like I said, it's a balance. We're looking at a balance. We will investigate, and once we find that you are the aggressor, then things can go differently. So we are advising you, give the respect, give the love. We speak to our police officers to do that, and so it's just as important for us to speak to you, to tell you to respect the police officers as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Superintendent. And from what I'm hearing, it seems as though sometimes when you investigate and it turns out that the person is the aggressor, that person might end up getting arrested. So we, a police officer, might have had a discussion in the initial stage, and then come and make a report and say you are the aggressor. Things might turn sideways. Okay. I want to thank you guys for coming out and sharing with the listening audience, both local, international, and the internet, about service improvement, professional standards, internal affairs, and police training school. I know you good officers are busy, very busy in carrying out the good work of the Lord. And police work is the Lord work as well. Absolutely. I want to thank you for being here with us, taking time out. I want to thank Wani. Thank you very much. And
a quick question before you guys get out of here. Someone wanted to know if there was a tribunal in 2016.
There was a tribunal in 2016?
If there was a tribunal in 2016,
okay,
I don't know.
I'll allow the superintendent to touch that.
In 2016?
Yes, I think the person is wondering if this was in effect in 2016. Yes, it was.
Oh, I mean Internal Affairs Department?
The tribunal.
Tribunal, yes. Okay, I didn't quite catch it. Yes.
In fact,
thank you.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much, Ronnie. Thank you for having us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for calling. I'll see you when I see you.
All our but foundation.